We're good.
All right. Welcome to Fresno City Toastmasters. I'm your president, Farron Jacobson. We like to start off with our mission statement. We have no guests or any new members, but we'll still start off with that. It's kind of relevant to my speech as well. Our mission statement is we provide a supportive and positive learning experience in which members are empowered to develop communication and leadership skills, resulting in greater self-confidence and personal growth. As far as new business, I just saw an email for training, officer training. It's scheduled for July 10th. However, we have not had our elections yet, so we don't know who our officers are and who will be attending which training. I think we can put that off until we have our elections. Elections are scheduled for, is it June 29th?
Yep.
Okay. And other than that, any other business that I'm missing?
So I got a little intel on Bitwise.
Oh, okay.
So we went and picked some apricots, and the house out in Easton area, one of the gals, she works there, or she's like one of the admins up there, like VP of something, VP of marketing. And I talked to them last year. So I asked her anything new about what's going to go on with when you guys are all coming back. And so Bitwise is making all their employees get vaccinated. So they're pretty much 100% vaccinated, but they're waiting on when Fresno, I guess, is at 50%. And we're at 47% or something. So they're going to open it up when that happens. And she's thinking that's going to be like early to mid-July. And then I asked her, I go, well, what about the other companies in there? And she goes, well, we can't require them to get fully vaccinate. So I think the companies coming in, they're going to wait until Fresno in general is like 50% vaccinated before that happens. And then we're even lower on the totem pole because we're not even paying rent over there. So I just have this weird feeling that they're going to cut out the fat, which is going to be us. I hope that's not going to be the case, but we might need to start brainstorming and just asking everybody to keep your eyes and ears open for a place to open up. If we can keep it downtown, that would be best, just because people come in thinking that it's downtown. So eyes and ears open on that. But it looks like longer days, if we're going to wait for Bitwise, it's going to take at least a month, if not more on that. So that's what I heard today.
Okay.
Cool. Can I ask a question about that? When we do resume in person, do you have a Zoom option as well? Or would it just be only in person? The only reason I ask is because I normally do this around my lunchtime at work. So I'm just trying to think logistic wise.
Where's your office, Heather?
Shaw and Van Ness.
Okay. Yeah. So that's about a 15-minute drive for you, huh?
Yeah. It's about, I just didn't know Zoom in was an option, like kind of
should.
a hybrid.
Yeah. I think we should. We'll have to, the tech thing we'll have to figure out. We'll have to figure out how to bring a laptop in so that we can just have it maybe on the podium or at the head of the table or something like that.
Thank you.
Figure that out. Yeah, because it's going to be different. We can't just 100% go back full no Zoom just because like what you're talking about.
Okay. I'm sure we can maybe work it out. I'm just trying to think of like, possibilities.
Yeah, because that also helped too. People like Denise talked about, she's busy right now. So being able to leave the office, some people allow them to be able to on their lunch break still stay and not have to go to the meeting itself.
Yeah, I think there was some kind of requirement from Toastmasters, but I don't know what date that was through. But I would imagine that we would still have a Zoom option probably through the end of this year, through 2021. And then maybe we'll rethink that in 2022.
Yeah, we're currently using a hybrid style meeting. And the thing is having the equipment that can record all of the other participants that are in person, opposed to, everyone having like a laptop in the room. It's just figuring out those logistics that are going to work best. I think everyone's really gotten used to the convenience of just being able to turn on their desktops but there's something to be said about meeting in person and just getting that training of, the podium and all that. But I'm one of those that's like, oh, it's going to be hard to go back to. It is. It's
I
just
know.
the reality.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Sometimes the equipment for airing and streaming actually takes, so if you just bring a laptop, an iPad, something like that, it is very cheap, but the quality is very poor.
Mm-hmm.
The video is not there, the audio is not there, the microphone's built in. You're talking about when you actually have dedicated equipment, you could easily reach $20,000 just for a lot of things. I mean, it all adds up, the wires, the microphones, to spotlight everybody in the crowd, and the camera that's required. That's good for streaming. Then you have to have the machine to actually be capable of compressing and airing that, and the internet speed, stuff like that. The equipment to stay on Zoom is pretty easy, just set up a laptop, but it looks really bad.
Mm-hmm.
You're coming in at 480-ish, and most of us have a 720 plus.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it's just important to stay focused on our mission of being better public speakers. So even if we don't have all the tech, as long as we're practicing in some way, whether we're there in person or here on Zoom, we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Anything else? Any other new business?
I think that's it.
Cool. Then I will introduce our Toastmaster of the day, Taylor Frederick.
Hi everyone, my name is Taylor Frederick and I am the Toastmaster of the day, and our theme is Go Fly Kite. And when I saw this theme, I thought back to when I was a kid, and I would spend hours running up and down my street with a little cheap kite trying to get it to fly into the air. And often I would do this when there was no wind, so there was no chance of it ever flying up in the sky, but still the joy was just in the journey and trying something new. I think as adults, often we're conditioned to not try things with a high failure or a high risk of failure. And so today in our meeting, I'll challenge everyone to try something new and maybe speak up, even if they think they're not going to be perfect or they might fail. And is Sarah Dawson here today? Okay, so I have our general evaluator as Sarah Dawson.
Sorry, she just was waiting and waiting, but I just noticed that. Sorry. I apologize, Sarah.
Oh, thanks. Hi. I was just about to send an email, like maybe I got canceled. I don't know.
Awesome.
I saw your name there and I was like, oh wait, she's waiting for approval.
Thanks.
All right, welcome, Sarah. I'm going to turn it over to you, our general evaluator.
I should unmute myself. Here you go. Thanks for letting me in. General evaluator, I get to do the overall process of just evaluate generally what's going on. And then I get to introduce the people who are going to be helping with that. So Marion will be Storm Davis. Here you go.
All right, I'm the grammarian of the day. So the word of the day, I made a little typo, is deride, to laugh, to laugh at or insult contemptuously, to subject to usually bitter or contemptuous, ridiculous, or criticize, or to criticize somebody, to express a lack of respect or approval of an idea, person, place, or thing. I'll be watching for anybody who uses the word today, and I will keep count.
Storm, do you have that in a sentence?
I don't. I could make a sentence.
I don't like it when my brother derides me.
Yes. I hate when I have this great idea and then everybody just like deriding. You could tell that one person is like making fun of it or they don't like it and they are a little bit deriding. It makes me feel like it was a bad idea.
Thank you so much, Storm. Making that up on the spot was pretty good. Good job. Next up is going to be the odd counter, Chanel. Oh, hi, Chanel. Yay, you're here. Chanel's going to be our odd
Hi,
counter.
Sarah. Thank you. I'm going to be the odd counter for today. And the purpose of this position is not to deride anybody for their use of crutch words, but simply to be a watcher to encourage us all to be better and, what would the word be? Conscientious about the words that we're using. Thank you.
Thank you, Chanel. And I don't know who might be taking Forrest's place today. Did we decide on that?
That's me, Sarah.
Okay, great.
Go.
Just tell us about being at the timer, please.
Thank you, Sarah. And many of you think that I like to deride the time, but I try not to. We have our speech today. Farron, is it just 5 to 7 for you? Yep, good. All right. We don't have any guests. So as we all know, we got the 2 to 3 for eval, and then we got the 1 to 2 minute for table topics. So I'll be taking the time of everybody.
Thank you very much, Joey. And Ty is Mr. Zoom Master. Take it away.
All right. I am the Zoom master today. Sorry about that little delay in admitting you to the meeting this morning. Still working on that, but my goal today is to make sure the meeting flows easily for us and spotlighting and pinning people as needed.
Great. Thank you so much. Is this your first time doing it?
It is my second time doing it.
It's still, though, it takes a while to get used to Zoom. We've been trying to use it for a year here, and at work, and some of them are still not. Some of our employees are still like, "What are we doing? What are we supposed to do?" With little pictures, just follow the little pictures and press the right button. So it is not, it's not easy to do. So thank you for taking that on. I appreciate it.
Absolutely.
And next, I will turn it back over to our Toastmaster. I think it's Taylor.
Thank you, Sarah. We have one speaker today, Farron Jacobson, and she has been with the club for about 3 years and currently serves as our president. She is a freelance journalist, yoga instructor, and pet sitter. Today, she'll be presenting her third speech in level 3 of the Engaging Humor Pathway, with her speech titled, "What We Say to Ourselves Matters." Welcome, Farron Jacobson.
Thank you, Taylor. The way we talk to ourselves matters. The way we talk about ourselves matters. Why? Because we believe ourselves. Who do you tell yourself you are? Do you tell yourself that you're shy, that you're a bad public speaker, that you're unprofessional because you use so many crutch words all the time? Guess what? If you tell those things to yourself often enough, you'll start to believe them and you won't grow. You'll stay stuck. Do you tell yourself you're getting better at public speaking? Do you tell yourself that you're confident, that you are the master of hand gestures and eye contact? Guess what? If you tell yourself those things often enough, you will be. You'll believe what you're telling yourself and you'll grow. For this project, in this level of my pathway, I was asked to record my moods and attitude over 2 weeks. And I was supposed to track any negative thoughts and moods, and then think about how I can practice positive thought replacement. Essentially, turn from a pessimist into an optimist. The thing is, I thought I already was an optimist. I call myself an optimist. I am the girl who has the glass that's half full. I'm the light at the end of the tunnel kind of girl. I'm the silver lining of the clouds kind of girl. I'm the woman who doesn't know how to give up because I believe that there's a future worth fighting for. Why did this project make me realize that I'm not as much of an optimist as I thought? Just yesterday, my boss asked me, how was Disneyland? We went to Disneyland, by the way, over the weekend. I said, great, it was really good. The only thing that was super annoying is we went with such a large group that we had to keep calling each other to figure out where we were so we can meet up again. And he was like, oh yeah, that's super annoying. And then I paused and I wondered to myself, how did I just summarize a whole day at the happiest place on earth by pointing out the one negative thing that I experienced that whole day? I didn't tell him that we got on 4 rides within 30 minutes in Fantasyland because there were no wait. I didn't tell him we activated Chewbacca mode on the new Star Wars ride, which was super dope. I didn't tell him that my kids didn't have any meltdowns. I didn't tell him how we balled out and spent 600 Disney dollars that I had been saving on my Chase Visa card for years. And we spent $100 within the first 20 minutes of walking into the park. Nope. All I said was it was really annoying to keep track of such a large group. And I thought I was an optimist. As many of you guys may know, I started teaching again at Tower Yoga. And after, I believe it was my first class, I apologized for the music. I had a playlist, but I had accidentally put it on shuffle, so it didn't play along with the class theme that I was intending. It just went completely wrong. And then when I realized it and went to change it, the iPod was not connected to the internet any longer, so I couldn't do anything about my music. And to me, it just ruined the whole class. At the end of the class, it was still a great workout. I still felt really good in my body and students were smiling. And I derided myself for the music. I apologized for it. I said, I'm so sorry, that won't happen again, I promise. The music will be better next time. So these students walk out of class feeling great in their bodies, but then with this thing in their mindset of, oh, the music was whack today because I drew attention to it. Granted, over the past couple of months, I haven't been myself, or rather I've been a very different version of myself than the self that I once knew. And when people ask me how I am, I respond honestly. I say, I'm okay. Not good, I'm just okay. Or I'm hanging in there, or I'm heartbroken. And I really do believe in being authentic. So if someone asks me how I'm feeling in the moment and that's how I'm feeling, I'm gonna say it. But then I need to realize when to draw the line on myself. Am I being authentic or am I just being negative? They're not one and the same. Because yes, I'm just okay. I am hanging in there. I am heartbroken. But I'm also excited about my upcoming travels. I'm happy to be teaching in a yoga studio again. And I'm proud of the podcast that I just launched. So why don't I lead with these emotions? Excited, happy, proud. The way that we talk about ourselves matters because we believe it. When I come here to Toastmasters, sometimes my energy is really low. I recognize that. Sometimes I'm down, I'm struggling, and I'm just trying to make it through the meeting, to be honest. But it's right there in our mission statement that Toastmasters is a supportive and positive learning environment. So I have to remember that. I have to remind myself, be positive. I did some really hard self-evaluation last night while I was writing this speech, because you know how I am. I write my speeches last minute. I realized that we do affect those around us, either directly or indirectly, with our moods, whether our mood is positive or negative or anything else in between, and whether we realize the effect that we're having or not. So today I am choosing to lead with the positive. I want to be the bright light in the room again. I want to be the woman with the warm smile that people feel safe opening up to. And I want to be the positive influence that people have told me that I am. So I will end the speech the way that I started to give you something to ponder on the rest of the day. The way that we talk to ourselves matters. The way that we talk about ourselves matters. Who do you tell yourself you are? Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sharon. That was awesome. Next, we're going to introduce our table topics master, Denise.
Thank you, Taylor. Taking in Farron's speech, because it always kind of hits a little to my heart whenever anyone speaks about personal stuff. I have to say, I wasn't a huge fan of today's theme. When I first read Go Fly a Kite, I thought immediately of the idiom. It was negative. Basically, get out of here, which is completely polar opposite of what we want a guest to feel at Toastmasters. And then I thought of some other idioms and how weird they are, piece of cake, in like Flynn, kind of strange. So I threw that idea for table topics out and decided, kind of like Taylor shared at the beginning, share if you have a humorous or fond memory of flying a kite either with your parents or maybe with your siblings or children. Or if you don't have a memory of a kite, some other activity that maybe you planned or someone planned for you, but it didn't really go the way it was planned, and it ended up like creating this really fantastic memory regardless. So I don't know if I wrote that down, but take that idea and then let me see if I can find something to put in the chat real quick.
I got a different take on it, Denise.
Okay.
Maybe give some people some ideas too, some alternative ideas if they can't come up with something. So this last week, we had our last week of 2 practices for my 8-year-old's baseball team. We're cutting it down to 1 day a week. We're going to stay together through the summer and the fall. And our last Wednesday, we had it was supposed to be a fun practice. We play this little game within a game. And one of our players, who's really a great kid, very artistic. He's the one actually we created our logos out of this year because we went independent out of a league. And he drew it up and we put it on our jerseys. Really cool. The team voted on it and the whole thing. And he, for some reason, I didn't know at the time, but he couldn't get his helmet on. He needs a bigger helmet. He's just a smart kid, big brain. He just can't get his helmet over his head. And he was struggling with getting it on in the dugout. And I didn't know this because I was pitching to everybody and trying to get everybody going where they're supposed to. And he got really, really frustrated. And to the point of where I don't even know why he kept running out to the field, but he just wouldn't hit. He would just sit there and sulk. And then he'd run out to the field sulking, and then he'd come back in sulking. He wouldn't hit, sulking like the whole time. And I was like, oh, it's kind of weird, but I've been there. I've been there before. So we had to talk with the team on Saturday, and I didn't call him out. I just said in general, and I asked and surveyed the kids, what do you do when you're frustrated? And everybody went through and talked about it, take a break and things like that. And this is what brings me back to go fly a kite. To me, it's really when there's frustration or disappointment or something that you have to take a break and go fly a kite, let the brain kind of open up a little bit and allow the solution to the answer that whether it's leading to frustration or being upset or angry, let that answer come back to you when your mind is open to it. And it was a really good session. And I think we had a good Saturday. We had our actual game. We played each other and everybody was in a better mood. And we introduced, and I'll end on this, the penalty box. So we had also not only the frustration, but they had a couple kids bickering at each other like brothers. And we introduced a penalty box that they get 2 minutes first violation. And if we bring them back together and they do it again, 4 minutes violation. And it keeps doubling in the penalty box. But I feel like coming back to the kite, flying the kite, it can be also used as a metaphor for taking a break and just allowing your mind to open up.
Thanks, Dre. So if you want to share a story relatable to what Joey was saying about taking a break, or what I suggested about an activity that maybe went wrong, but it still created a nice memory, I'm going to start with Heather.
You saw me thinking. Now, man, I really want to answer this question well, because I know that there have been quite a few times in my life where things didn't quite work out, but in the end it was for the better. But I'm stuck on this one memory. We didn't fly kites with my family, but we flew rockets. I remember one summer we put this little model rocket together, and we built it, and then we went to my old elementary school, and we would just let them go. And it was just always such a fun memory to me. I remember some of them, so you would launch it, right? And then there'd be like a little toy soldier, and it would have a little parachute that would come down, and my brother would we would try and look for them. So I guess the one thing that did go wrong is that sometimes they would get caught up in the very tops of the tree. So we didn't get to rescue every soldier. They didn't all land, but that was always really fun and some of my favorite memories. So we didn't, fly kites, but we did launch rockets. So that was always really fun.
Thanks, Heather. No soldier left behind, remember? You're supposed to climb that tree and get them. Okay, Sarah, what would you like to share?
Oh, I have a story about an actual kite flying experience. And
Yay.
it was with my brother as an adult. And I'll tell you why it was super, super special. And especially because, so I'll tell you the first story first, and then I'll tell you the story about flying the kite. In college, I had gone with my brother and his friends to go whitewater rafting, and they were doing the guiding, and I said I wanted to try it, but they gave me zero instructions and just said, good luck, go do it. And I didn't do it very well. And then they laughed, they derided me. There we go. I'll use the word of the day. Like, and just made fun of me and like, you can't do it, whatever. And then went back to doing this. So this is part of, in the back of my mind, part of the experience that I've had. When I was flying the kite with my brother on the beach, it was in Hawaii, right in the windiest part, and it's just an amazing time to fly a kite. And this is not just any kite; it's one of those. I'm not sure if you've seen them, but they're little parachute kites where it has two strings and you have to pull them, and you take you can take them and kind of like almost fly away with them in a sense, even though you're a human and an adult-sized human, and they will just they'll take you away. And my brother was so incredibly patient with me that day. He's like, oh, how's he do it? And even when I was messing it up, and he was just gentle and kind and gave me the instructions to have it. And so it was, in a sense, a corrective experience, but it was just the perfect place, the perfect time, and in a way that was lovely. So it was a great time flying a kite.
Oh, I love that. That's what we all think a big brother or a brother experience is like. I don't know. I just have sisters. So
he is a bigger brother, but he's technically 2 minutes younger than me. So, but he's 6'5". So
he's a big brother. Storm, how about you?
This is a very interesting topic. I was trying to keep it along the lines of fly a kite. The first time I tried to fly a kite, I was about 5 years old. 5 years old, there's no wind, just running in the backyard. There's nothing else to do. It's probably about 100 degrees out. And trying to fly this kite is very interesting. After a while, I was thinking, wow, this is really hard. You get winded and it's hot and it's just not really working. Can't get it over a couple feet because if you're not dragging it through the air at an angle, it just doesn't go up. I think the beach is one of those best places to go fly a kite. If it's too windy, it's kind of like sand's flying. It's not great if someone's walking in front of you with like upwind and then they're just them walking just a little bit really careful. Sand kicks up, goes in your face, all eating your drinks. If you got a drink down and someone's walking and it's breezy, yeah, you're gonna have some sand in your tea or in your juice or anything else like that. One thing that I do like about flying the kite was you are so innocent. You don't, when you're at 4 or 5, 6, you don't have that feeling of anybody deriding you. You're just innocent. When you see a baby, you see that they stand up and they fall down. They stand up and fall down. Not once do they say, oh man, I'm just not going to be a walker. I'm not going to walk. So as adults, we don't like to fail. I heard that today. We only like to do what we can do, what we know we can do. But that's where babies have it right. See, as adults, we fall down in a job career and then it just doesn't work. We feel so discouraged, but we have to get back up. It's Thomas, what was it? The light bulb, Thomas Edison, 10,000 metals that they know that doesn't work until they actually come in with tungsten where they found that metal. If someone falls down in love and then their heart gets locked down, it's like, well, come on, let's be like a baby. Let's let them teach us. Let's not fall down in love every single time. If we fall down, we have to get back up. I mean, they don't give up. It's a growing experience. So after someone gets discouraged, get back up. Watch the children. They get back up after time and time again, and they always learn to achieve it.
Thanks, Storm. Ty, how about you? You there? Did we lose Ty?
I'm here. I'm here. Can you hear me? All right, sorry. Yeah, I can share. First, let me say, Farron, I thought your speech was amazing because I've noticed that something about your speeches is I feel like we're living a very similar life in the way that you approach things, and the things that you talk about are things that I'm very interested in. It could easily been a speech I gave, but I kind of wanted to say that when Denise, when the theme said "Go fly a kite," I immediately thought of something positive, which kind of ties into what you're saying. You know, it was my first thought was a memory I had growing up where, you know, I was raised by my grandparents. They were my parents. They both passed on since then. But one of my favorite memories that I hadn't thought about since in years, we used to go to Pismo a lot and we used to camp out. And sometimes me and my grandpa would go and we would fly kites on the beach. And, you know, when you said that, it was the immediate thought that I went to. So for me, when I heard that term, it was a very positive term for me. It brings back a lot of memories. So that was a nice little memory to be called back to.
That makes me want to tear up. I can't imagine that, having that memory of flying a kite with my grandpa on the beach. That would be incredible. I'm very jealous of that. And I don't know what that says about me, that I went to the negative place when I saw Go Fly a Kite. So I'd have to dig a little deeper into that.
Moment in time, Denise. Moment
Yeah.
in time. That's all it is.
Right, right. So Joey, do you want to share?
Did you want me to do another
Wait,
one?
I'm sorry, let me go to
Yeah, don't.
Chanel. So I'm skipping you, Joey.
Thank you. I actually thought of something totally different than anyone else when I heard this phrase, and it's sort of an indirect answer to the question, but it's what came to mind. When I hear the phrase, "let's go fly a kite," I think of the song from the movie Mary Poppins at the end of the movie. I'm assuming that everybody has seen Mary Poppins. If you haven't, the storyline is that the father is very disconnected from his kids and like a workaholic, and then Mary Poppins comes in and becomes kind of their surrogate parent and ends up turning the father back to his kids so that he loves them and wants to interact with them, and then she leaves when her job is done. And so the very last scene of the movie is the father fixes his two kids' kite and then goes and flies it with them in the park, and it's this reunion scene of they're a family again and he is interacting with them and they're having fun. Mary Poppins was my favorite movie when I was little. I used to watch it over and over again growing up, and I would play dress up like I was Mary Poppins. I looked nothing like her at all whatsoever, but I'm sure in my 3- and 4-year-old mind I thought that I did. A story that actually goes along with Mary Poppins that is something that didn't work out perhaps as expected is that when I was about 4 years old, my parents took my sister and I to Disneyland. I know, very spoiled, like 4-year-old kids can't even remember Disneyland, but my mom scheduled to take me in the Disneyland hotel to a Mary Poppins tea party because I was at that age where I just loved Mary Poppins. It was everything Mary Poppins is what I was crazy about. And so she took me to this tea party, and I don't have a specific memory of the event, but a story that my mom often tells is that apparently we were at this tea party. I was 4 years old. We were in a room of other mothers with their daughters, and Mary Poppins, or the Disney actress who was playing her for that event, was singing songs around the room. And apparently I hopped up out of my seat and started following her around the room, singing the songs with her to all of the guests and other people at the table because I, of course, knew all the songs because I had seen the movie so many times. So when I think of Let's Go Fly a Kite, I think of Mary Poppins and that memory.
That's so cute, Chanel. And you know what's so funny about that is I was humming the tune, but I couldn't remember how I knew the song. But so I guess a positive and negative from that, huh? My memory's going. I'm old. Do we have time for anyone else? Where are we at in time?
We should be
Okay.
good if there's somebody else that hasn't gone.
I think you and Taylor are left. So
I went first, Denise. Remember, I had mine.
You did.
Yep.
Okay,
So,
Taylor.
Yeah, I can go. So going along the theme of something that was supposed to be fun, but then went a little awry. This past weekend, I was celebrating my friend's 30th birthday, And we were at a cabin on a river. It was really beautiful. And we had planned our Saturday to just hang out on the river shore and just relax and enjoy each other's company. And we were all laying in the sun, and all of a sudden, out of nowhere, comes this giant white dog just tromping through the river. And he comes over to our stuff, just completely gets us all wet, knocks everything over. It was a disaster. And then we hang on to this dog and we realize that it had run away from someone, probably. So we kind of had to try to contact the owner, and it was just this big debacle. The dog kept trying to get away from us because it really enjoyed being chased. And so by the end of this, we were all muddy and wet, and this dog was trying to run away from us, but we returned it to its owner. It wasn't exactly how we pictured our Saturday, but it ended up being a great story. So
Yeah, you won't forget that, Taylor, more than likely. All right, well, thank you guys for participating. And it's interesting to hear people's takes on how they initially read that. I think that says a lot more than probably everything that we shared. So kind of goes to perfectly with what Farron was saying about who we tell ourselves we are. So I'll give it back to
Take it.
Sarah.
Yes.
Thanks,
Okay.
Sarah.
Part of the general evaluation, we'll start with our evaluator of the speech for Farron.
So that'll be Denise, Sarah.
Oh, go Denise. I was
Woo.
trying to scroll down
Okay.
the sheet. I didn't quite have that up. Thank you.
Normally I would me again. Normally I would have a little time to put my thoughts together. So I apologize for not being too whatever detailed in my evaluation. That's a good word. Immediately, Farron, you looked right into the camera and made eye contact, and that's the greatest thing that you can do when we're using the Zoom format. That was perfect. You used relatable words in your speech that fit perfectly with Toastmasters. You used emotion and feelings that I think everyone shares, self-doubt and the things that we say to ourselves. I don't know anybody, unless you are just the most amazing person in the world, who doesn't have that feeling. So that made it just really relatable, and it makes people want to listen. I could sense a little emotion in you. So it was touching for me, because personally, I felt she's using this motivation for herself and for others. And I can tell that you're like still going through this stuff, which is really brave and very vulnerable. And I give you kudos for that. It's not easy to do at all. And I really don't have anything to challenge you on, other than, and you know this, you, especially with Zoom, you can get away with this when you're in a room with other people, because you need to scan the room and you need to look at everybody. But when you have a subject matter that's this personal, I think it's really important that you look into the camera, so everybody feels like you've had that moment with them, because your notes, I think, were over here. And so you did kind of this a lot. But other than that, Farron, you always do such a great job. You're a great writer. There was humor in there as well. But overall, great subject matter for the times right now. I think everyone's struggling with this in this transition from going into pandemic into the real world. So I think you did a fantastic job.
Thank you, Denise. I appreciate it.
Thank you very much, Denise. Great evaluation. And we're going to move on to next person up for the timer report. course.
Miss Sarah. That was me. Let me pull it up real quick. All right, overall, we did pretty good. Farron came in at 545, right in the middle. Denise is evaluator, hot off the press, 222, right in the middle. And our table topics, we had a couple that think of time as deriding, like myself, me being number one, 230, I came in a little bit over the time. Heather did great, 109. Sarah, great, 128. Storm, you're with me at 227. Ty came in 114. Awesome. Chanel, you're with Storm and I at 227. And then Taylor, great work, 117. Way to go.
Thank you, Joey. Next up is our all counter, Chanel West.
Thank you, Sarah. I'm very excited that I went over time in my table topics. That's actually a big accomplishment. So for our counting today, I will call myself out first. I know that I had a couple of ums, uhs in my initial introduction as counter. And I think that I had one in my table topics as well. For Sarah as evaluator, you did really well. I didn't catch any uhs or ums from you. There was a few so's, which I think is a pretty common thing that comes up. So continue. There, I said so. To watch that, let's see. Ty, you had about 3 or 4 uhs, ums between your Zoom introductions and your table topics, and also the clearing of the throat, which is something that I've caught myself doing on the phone actually when I'm talking to people on the telephone. I noticed that I do that a lot. I think every time that you came up to speak, you cleared your throat. So watch out for that. Joey, the same with you. I didn't catch any uhs or ums, but you did do the throat clearing both times that I was watching when you came up to talk. Let's see. Farron, I didn't catch any uhs or ums or crutch words from you. You were extremely clear, which, as usual. However, there were just a few of the tisks in there, which I know I myself have got in the habit of doing in the past. So watch out for the tisks. Denise, you had a few uhs and ums between your table topics and your evaluation. I think 5 or 6 in there. But as you said, the evaluation, you were having to think on your feet because you didn't know ahead of time. Let's see. Storm, you did really, really well. You had, so your whole table topics, I was paying close attention. You had none until you got to this one point where you were trying to think of a like Thomas Edison quote, and then you had one slip out, and then a few others just kind of came after that in succession, I think, as you were trying to get your footing. But before that, you were nothing, like extremely clear, really good job.
Much improved, Storm. Way to go.
Yes, yeah, I agree. Very, very noticeable improvement. Okay, who am I missing? Taylor, you did good. I didn't catch any uhs or ums. There was a couple of so's and a kind of in there that we could get rid of. And then Heather, you had a few uhs and ums also, probably 5 or 6 in there, kind of mingled throughout. So watch out for those. Did I miss anybody? I think I got everyone. Okay. Good job, guys. That's my report. Thank you.
It was a super thorough report. Awesome job. Thank you very much, Chanel. And our last person up will be our grammarian, Storm Davis.
All right, guys, I was your grammarian of the day. I got a phone call, so I was a little bit distracted. The table topics, I was really attempting to keep my ums and ahs in check until I had to fact check and remember who was the inventor of the light bulb. So Joey, you got it a couple times. Farron, you did awesome. You got it in as well. The word of the day. Chanel West, you got your word of the day. Sarah Dawson, awesome. Oh man, I can't wait to have some cookies. Okay. And if I miss anybody else, I was really, really trying to pay attention while I got a work phone call. But did I miss anybody? And I thought I got it myself in my speech as well. So, okay, awesome. Everybody did awesome. It was the interesting word of the day, trying to incorporate this word of the day on the fly, like in a speech. Farron, you did awesome in a speech because we rehearsed these things without the word of the day. So awesome. I will, next time I'm grammarian, I will do more diligently, listen for the word of the day and everybody who uses it.
Thank you very much, Storm. Appreciate it. And next up is me. That's, yeah. There we go. Sorry. Yay, me. Right. Overall, well, I was a little late, so I don't know if we started it on time, but I think we were just, it seemed like we were just at the top of our game today. I think everybody went, as soon as I jumped in, everybody was in there doing wonderful, moved along quickly and efficiently. Everybody participated. Everybody kept a positive attitude like our mission statement says. So thank you very, very much. Great job today. And back over to our wonderful President Farron.
Thanks, Sarah. Yeah, I agreed. We had a really good meeting today. Small crew, only 9 of us. We are a true Brady Bunch fam right now and got it done. Let's go over, before I forget, next week's agenda. I won't be here, by the way. So who would like to fill in as the president next week? Joey, does that go to you? You won't be here either?
Yeah,
Denise? Chanel?
I can do it.
Okay.
Hey,
Go president.
that could be a little forecasting going on or foreshadowing.
Yeah. All right. And then the meeting theme is summertime. Who would like to be the Toastmaster?
Denise?
Oh,
Sarah?
oh, if Denise doesn't want it, yeah. I'll take it.
I'll give it to you,
She's
Sarah.
on mute.
Speakers, I have Storm and Forrest.
I will not be able to, I don't think I will be able to do the speech. I will try to attend the meeting on the 21st, no, 22nd.
1 second.
I will attempt to attend the meeting. I won't be able to take a role, or if I do, it'll be a small role, but I won't be able to give a speech on that day.
Okay. I will try to move Johnny over and contact him and see if he's coming. We can put him in the spot. Would anyone else like to give a speech next week? Just in case? Okay. And then an evaluator for Forrest's speech and possibly for Johnny's. Heather?
Yeah, I'll be an evaluator. I meant to that last week, but wasn't able to.
Okay.
Thank
And
you.
then
then
we
I'll
got
put
Denny
Johnny down as
too.
well. She's supposed to evaluate mine.
Yeah,
You
whoever.
get access to Denny too.
Yeah.
Denny should be here, I'm guessing, next week.
Okay. Cool. And then table topics master.
I mean, put me down. We'll
We already-
figure it out.
I mean, I can do the table topics.
Okay.
Hi.
Thank you.
Because you're Toastmaster, right, Denise?
I am.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Denise,
Right.
you are Toastmaster?
Was it me or Sarah? Sorry, I was on mute
It's
and
okay. I put Sarah down. Do you want to be the general evaluator, Denise?
sure.
Okay.
Denise wants, I'll take whatever. It doesn't matter.
You're Toastmaster, Sarah. Awesome.
So
Dawson cookies.
cooperative,
Storm,
Sarah.
Storm was just asking about them today. Awesome Dawson cookies.
Yeah, I do. I want some cookies. I
When
don't
we
know.
have a party. Wait.
Janelle, did you want to roll for next week? Oh, you're president, but do you want
Yeah,
to?
I can do something else. I can be the Zoom master.
Okay, perfect.
Hey, there we go.
Yay. And then Taylor, will you be able to attend next week?
I will be on vacation, but I might be able to be Akioner, so
Okay, I'll
Uh-oh.
put you down
put me
tentatively.
as that
You're gonna be-
tentatively
You gonna be reporting in from the beach?
from Idaho.
Oh, Idaho. Hey.
Sweet. And then we have grammarian and timer left. I can assign those to other.
Did you get Denny in one of those roles?
I have Denny as an evaluator.
Oh,
But
okay.
I can put her as.
I could take a role. I just won't. I should make it on Tuesday. I should be here.
Maybe like timer, Storm?
Okay,
Yeah.
I'll put you as timer storm. All right, we're all filled out for next week. And then for June 29th, I have speakers Ty and Sarah. You good to go? Yep, cool. And then July 6th, I have Joey down for a speech. Would anyone else like to schedule that far out as well? July 6th?
July 6th is right after 4th of July. Were we gonna take a break that week or keep meeting?
Let's see
I
what
think
you
I
say.
suggest we take a break because there's a holiday after the 4th of July as well for a lot of people, that Monday.
And that is
Okay.
a
It's
Sunday,
just my suggestion. We don't have to, but.
and that's a Sunday too. So the 4th is on a Sunday.
Mhm.
Yeah, so I would agree. So we can just shift everybody over, maybe.
Okay, I'll do that.
Is everybody good with that? Taking that week off? Okay, got a lot of head nodding.
Cool. All right.
So elections, just last thing, I think we had a rough draft because, Farron and I won't be here next week. So that'll be the last week before we actually have the elections. So maybe we should just get a kind of a semi-hard version of what we're going to do. So Chanel, do you need a little bit more time to think about El Presidente or La Presidente?
You didn't
Yeah,
tell
I
her
think
we chose her last
maybe
week?
we could talk about it.
Because we'll get you all the stuff, because I think between Farron and I, we mainstreamed it pretty well, I think. The only other thing would be inbound communications from the higher ups would be the only different thing. But we got the agenda stuff pretty much good, how you open, all that stuff we've got pretty much, I think, secured down. And then once you get through it a couple times, maybe that could be the dry run for you next week. Maybe Farron, you want to get her, the notes I gave you, maybe give them to her so she can do like a dry run with that.
Okay.
Yeah, I think probably my biggest concern is that I know we will be going back in person, and I mean, I attended 3 meetings in person
Yeah.
before going on Zoom. So that is going to be a bit different for me, and I'm not familiar with how a meeting runs in person.
You got Farron and I. Farron and I both can help you out there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You'll have support, and no one expects you to be perfect.
exactly. Yeah, I think Amanda was president when you came, right? Was Amanda still president that time? Or was I president?
You were president, Joey.
I was in front, actually in the actual meetings.
I think so.
Okay, maybe. Yeah.
Because they're president for a year, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Then you were definitely.
Yeah, we'll help you.
Okay.
Cool. So then tentative president Chanel, I'll take VPE, Joe, your treasurer,
Yep.
Denise.
VP member, you still good or up in the air?
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm good for now.
And then Denny for
I
secretary.
mean, unless somebody else wants it.
I know what you're saying there, Denise.
It's one of those, I'm busy. I feel like I'm not doing 100% the best job, but at the same time, I enjoy this
Mhm.
part of my week. So it's a
It's
struggle.
unpaid,
But I'm
Denise,
here.
so we understand. It's unpaid.
Yeah.
Right? So Sergeant at Arms, and what's the is we have one more. Oh yeah, VPPR. Yeah.
Everything I enjoy doing is unpaid.
I know.
I prefer my volunteer work to my actual paid job. Anyway.
Yeah. So anybody interested in the Sergeant at Arms would be one, which really doesn't have much of a role per se for Zoom, but in person, you'd be the person that would secure the room, would have the bag of stuff that we usually set up with our banner and all that. And then what was the other one? PR. So, I mean, Chanel did pretty well with that. I think she could probably put together a little how-to, what she was doing. And
Yeah.
PR, just make sure you're regularly.
I would hand over all of the stuff as far as the social media posts. Whoever took on that role could just use what I've been using.
Yeah, you just created everything. So all they got to do is just post it one day a week, right? Set it up on schedule and stuff.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Or up to 3 days if they want to.
Mm-hmm. So any of
Any
you,
volunteers for that? Taylor?
Sarah,
I could do that.
which one?
The PR.
PR. Okay.
one. Unless Sarah, you're.
I did not want the PR. I was
Ah.
considering
When
I
you
was-
Sergeant at Arms? Sarah?
that one. Denny was here on Friday at work with me, and I had her look at the room over there to see if we were still needing a space. if it would work out to have it over there.
Yeah.
We still, because we're a shelter, we still have a lot stricter rules over here.
Right.
Even when everybody gets to be free today, we don't get to be as much. So
Yeah.
there may be some other rules, and working it out with classes and stuff, because we have classes before after that. So I have to get some details, but I am looking into it to see, and that would make it really easy to be sergeant at arms, because I could just leave the stuff here. So
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
and when I go away, somebody else could take over. So
Yeah. Cool. Okay. There you go, Farron.
Yep, awesome. Put that in the email. All right, we are a little bit overtime, so everyone have a good week.
Everybody
All
have a great
right.
week.
Good luck.
Farron,
Safe
be
travels,
safe.
Farron.
Be safe,
Bye.
Farron.
time, Farron.
Send pictures.
Yeah.
All
Yeah.
right.
Bye, guys.